Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Jackson County Board of Supervisors meeting for Tuesday, April 2nd of 2024. Hope everyone had a happy Easter and able to enjoy it with their family and friends. We've got a little rain going on, so that's a good thing. And everything is good. It was a good weekend for us, so. First on our agenda today is Mr. Todd Keeney, our Jackson County engineer. Good morning.
Morning. So first item here is to approve the funding agreement. This is for that $2 million that we were awarded, the county bridge construction fund for the Channel Worth Bridge. It's pretty standard funding agreement that we enter into anytime the DOT grants it. We have federal aid or grant money that we get, so.
And this is just the paperwork you talked about last week when we accepted the money. This is just the paperwork.
Yeah.
So this is the channel though, not the iron.
So Iron Bridge, we accepted, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Last week, Iron Bridge, that's the other 2 million we just got. This is actually from like.
Yeah.
6-8 months ago, they finally got the agreement to it, right?
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the funding agreement as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye opposed. Motion carried.
Okay, the next item here is to award the bid for the 184th Avenue Bridge Replacement Project. 2 bidders. This is all let through the DOT. We get the information back. Low bidders, Dan Schrader Construction. Let's recommend we award to them.
What was the difference in the bids, you know?
$659,050.01 versus $728,369.45. So
70?
80, roughly 80, what?
And that is to be
68,000.
completed when?
I got this specifically for you.
Really?
What was the estimate?
Estimate was 681.69. It's got a July 15th late start date. It's got 75 working days.
So is Jim and Dan the same? You said Dan, this says
It's Jim Schrader Construction
Jim, okay, so I'll put,
is the actual business name.
okay, and,
Should have a resolution.
so I do have a resolution number 1023-04-02-2024.
Wishes of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the
Resolution.
award.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the award resolution number 1023-04-02-2024 as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Just for the, sorry,
Go ahead.
just for ease and convenience of the people listening, because quite a few, where is this bridge exactly located on 184th?
What do you mean? Like what section number?
Yeah, like where over by,
Behind Happy,
Give 'em-
Old Happy Joe's.
oh, down,
Yeah, so the
West of town.
what is that, section 36 of
It would
Southport or?
Yeah.
You're telling the story.
South of Marianne Mickles.
okay. Yep,
Is that where we had request to cut down the hill and do
Yes.
all that?
Yes,
Okay,
right there. You
right
hit the
there,
nail
on
on
the
the
hill
head.
there.
Yeah. Next item is the utility permit for Macocata Valley Electric to run overhead fiber optic and then go or underground under 580th Avenue to service a location, private location. I don't see any issue with it. Just recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the permit to Macocata Valley Electric Cooperative as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, and then the next item is, we had the hearing for the 5-year program. The next step is to approve the 5-year program so I can submit it to the DOT. So you have a motion to do that.
I'll make a motion to approve the 5-year road plan as
presented in our public hearing.
Second,
Motion and second to approve the 5-year road plan and bridge program. Any further discussion? We didn't have a lot of a large attendance, but we had attendance and we had good discussion. Very positive, questions were answered as asked, and it was a good program. So all those in favor, anyone else got anything? All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and then just one real quick item, we got our 308th Street pre-con today, so they're gonna be starting sooner than later.
Hear that.
And then just, I think Nana's going now to the CPKC meeting 1:30 on Thursday, is that correct? Okay,
Is that correct? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
no commitment unless something changes, say,
and we're meeting right on 334th Street near the tracks is where we're meeting, so. That's all I have.
All right,
All right.
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, are there any visitors or citizens online or present, seeing none? That would like to approach the board this morning? Hearing or seeing none? Are you?
I can. Luann, would you call Harlan down?
So we're a little ahead of schedule here, and I
Can you come down now? All right, thanks.
who did you call? You called Elizabeth?
No, no,
Oh, this is for your portion?
it is.
Okay, so I see somebody walking the halls here that may be interested in one of your agenda items. But you're not on the agenda until 9:40,
Okay.
so,
Based on the 5-year road meeting that we had last Thursday night, there was some questions concerning how much money does Jackson County receive for all of these licenses? And I will be presenting this morning the recorder's report of fees collected for the month of March, and I thought it would be interesting, instead of me trying to convey to the board that Arlene would just come down and explain to you how much money we do receive.
I would agree with that.
So it's just good information, maybe a little eye-opening, so.
Does anyone know if, is Tom gonna be present, or is he still in South somewhere? How about Elizabeth? Why don't you try Elizabeth quick? Or if Arlene comes, we can do your portion.
I mean, at least Arlene can at least explain.
Okay, let's start with your portion as far as we can go, and
That's fine, so we'll try and go through here as fast as we can, and if not, we can move it for later. This morning, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the March 26, 2024 board proceedings, March 28, 2024 proposed property tax levy hearing, and the March 28, 2024 5-year road plan as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspapers.
I'll make that motion to approve all the minutes from above.
second,
have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the previous 3 meetings. The regular board meeting, the property tax levy hearing meeting, and the 5-year road program as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
So I kind of gave them a little bit of an intro. I'll let you finish.
I always like things on paper, so you can look at it.
Okay, so where are we at here? And you're.
So I'm at a point that I would need to I would need a motion to accept, place on file and authorize the auditor and chair and auditor signatures on the county recorder's report of fees collected for the March 2024 in the amount of $37,705.65.
so,
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve the fees collected and the reported amount. Any further discussion? Would you like to explain them fees at all?
Do you have any questions? I mean, it's just the same monthly fees we always have.
So basically for the public, what she handed us was kind of what the registration fees are for the snowmobile, ATV, UTVs type of deal, and out of that, they're both.
out of the total fees collected, how much we as a county receive versus what goes to the state.
Yeah, we're ready to talk about snow and ATVs. I didn't know that. You're still on the county
Fees
recorder.
collected first.
Sure. All those in favor of the motion?
Hold on.
Say aye. Aye, opposed,
All right,
motion carried.
Okay, so then what I handed you is something Lisa kind of asked for yesterday, as far as our registration fees, title fees, lien fees, user permit fees that we collect for the DNR for snowmobiles, ATVs, OHVs, and ORMs. So what you have in front of you is just how the fees are broke down and who gets what. But basically, we now get just $2 per DNR privilege, meaning per registration fee, per title, per lien, per user permit, etc.
so I think there was a gentleman here during that 5-year road plan that was talking about it. He served on the state snowmobile advisory board, and he said he was able to apply for groomers and stuff. I'm assuming what would be the special snowmobile fund.
Yes,
And allowed to, and he was going to pursue the question on how the fees are broken down and what we get, because he was thinking there would be a similar fund for, so the ATV, UTVs.
they have a separate fund that,
Okay, because you say user permit goes to a special all-terrain vehicle fund, the title goes to a special snowmobile fund. Did you mean to change that or?
No. No.
So the title for an ATV goes to the special snowmobile fund,
where's that at? Oh, did
Bottom
I
of the
screw that
page.
up?
bottom of the page. Keep going.
Oh, yep, sorry.
Okay, so there's a special all-terrain vehicle fund. He was hoping that maybe there were some ways that we could get some money coming back into the county by applying to get this special fund.
That would go specifically to road improvement. Which makes sense. Why, can you tell me why
all I
that
gotta
the
say.
DNR is getting all these funds anyway?
Well, some goes, like I said, some of it goes to a special snowmobile fund, some goes to an ATV fund. Part of the title fee for, goes to the DNR conservation, and then they must split it up per county. Like the snowmobile fund that they have goes to the state treasurer for a snowmobile fund. And like our county, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, got 3,000 for the grooming of Jackson County and so forth, which is nice. So I don't know if that's figured on the population of the county. I don't know how they did that up, but
So what this gentleman was getting at, that there's many more usage nowadays of the ATV that are using the roads and constantly, and there's X amount of them registered. These people are not opposed to an extra $10-15 to go right to secondary roads, you
Road
know,
improvement.
that would be amazing.
yeah,
you know.
yeah, I mean,
Because
I just.
As we all know, the big talk is, ATVs, you can't even write them on the DNR ground, but yet they're getting all the revenue for them. Iowa has opened it up, as we all know, to the state roads or county roads. So why is
So
a majority of that not coming back to them areas to keep them groomed and maintained? So,
That would be awesome.
right.
I mean, just what we retain for our general fund was 50 cents when I first started, instead of $2. And then last year it was raised to $1.25 last July. Or no, last July it went from $1.25 to $2. Yeah, exactly. So.
So, but out of the 1850, 1525 of it is going to the state DNO.
Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't quite figured
The
out
second
why
page,
the
are you
DNO.
looking at the second
I'm
page?
looking at the front page first, registration
On
fee.
the back it says,
Yep.
state total fees 38,100, county got just under $5,500. The rest of it went to the state.
Yep.
Snowmobiles were a lot less.
So look at
And
the
that was last
comparison
fiscal
from the ATV to the snowmobile registrations is 7 times as much. So obviously, there's more vehicles on the road. Not that more wear and tear, yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna take a good group to go to legislation to get that. So yeah, that's great. That's wonderful.
Okay.
It only makes sense, especially now with how much they're being used. So,
And again, it's not that the DNR still wouldn't get their portion. His proposal was to, yeah, I'm not opposed to paying another $10 to everybody that's got one. To ride them for maintenance, if we will.
If it can be designated specifically to gravel road improvement
Yep.
type of thing.
That would be huge. Because the fee per year is not very much.
No, it's not really, no.
It's a very minimal fee to,
How's that compared to a boat?
Some boats are by length. The fees. So I did have that too, but I didn't think you guys wanted that, so. But if you want, stop. in.
Interesting.
Cool, thank you.
Well, thank you.
what's the average boat?
The user permit for snowmobiles, through legislation, they're thinking of combining that. Now, we heard at ISAC.
I assume I personally thought with my dealings on the ATV committee or commission when it was first founded was whenever it became legal for side by sides and things to drive on the road, it would be, to me, it made sense to just do the state issue motorcycle license plate kind of thing. But silly me.
Yeah, silly. So that's what it is. If you have any other questions, let me know.
Thank you.
And if you want that vote printout, stop in.
Thank you so much.
Not extra.
Thank you, Arlene.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. Oh, I'm gonna change this.
Okay, we passed the recorded fee collection already.
So do you want me to continue with my agenda?
Yeah, you sure can.
So I need a motion to approve the renewal of a Class C retail alcohol license with outdoor service to the Bellevue Golf Club Inc. at 32,292 395th Avenue, Bellevue, effective April 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2025.
I'll make that motion to approve that.
Second,
Motion and second to approve the alcohol license with outdoor service to the Bellevue Golf Club as presented. All those in favor signify by aye.
aye,
Aye opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
And we have been working on, and I shouldn't say we, Kelly Brown from Jackson County Economic Alliance has been working on the Jackson County procurement policy. I believe that this is in final draft, and so today, if you agree, I would need a motion to approve and authorize board signatures on the revised Jackson County procurement policy.
so moved.
Second,
Motion and second to approve and authorize board signature on the revised Jackson County procurement policy. Any further discussion? I just want to thank Lisa and Kelly for their diligent work in this.
Painstaking
gets-
diligence.
It gets rather intense when you
Been a lot of reading, how's
when
that?
they fine lines everything and
Yes.
include everything. So when you get into federal policy, we have to adhere to it. So I appreciate the work that's done on it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
I need a motion, and according to visiting with Luann, the earliest date that we could have the public hearing, because the Together We Build lease is more than 5 years. I need a motion to approve setting the date of April 16th, 2024 at 10 a.m. for a public hearing for the Together We Build Inc. lease.
So moved.
second,
Motion and second to approve the date of April 16th at 10 a.m. for a public hearing for the Together We Build Inc. lease. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carried.
Are we at a point today? Do we have a final copy of the lease? Are we good? Do we have any more changes? I know that this has been quite a discussion.
I think the one change we were talking about with, between the tenant and the landlord providing the landlord providing the tenant with keys versus what's in the lease saying the tenant shall provide landlord with keys. Do you have any other discussion here? They're coming in. Perfect time.
Right on schedule.
Is there any other
So-
questions?
We just we're into Lisa's portion of the lease agreement with Together We Build. And we're just discussing if there's any other changes. There's been a few slight changes. You received a copy this morning from Mr. Keys.
This morning?
No,
No. Yesterday.
Yeah, we tweaked some things this morning and I called him and I know there's the recommended change, well, the things that you pointed out, I called him and he put those things in.
Okay.
And, you got Luann, did you print a couple extra copies?
I'm putting them down.
Here's one.
So I guess there was one question we had here this morning, looking it over. What part of it was it? Portion 3, the last line in possession. It says tenant shall provide landlord with key. I know we talked about this before. The keys are issued from here, is that correct?
Yeah.
So she could-
dropped off last week.
So what John dropped off was, I'm gonna say 29 master keys. I don't know if that's inside the building or just the exterior.
So,
But,
Oh.
we had a meeting this morning about this, and we were just trying to figure out,
Okay.
and I think John was not clear on it either, what they were. He was like, maybe I should take the box back and go check them.
We're gonna do that.
Okay.
That's gonna get done.
So
We-
long time ago, we met with the company that made the keys.
Yeah.
And so they were not supposed to be all master keys, because number one, like extension would have its own key, the office up front would have its own key. The Cornelius room would have its own key, so basically anybody coming to rent the facility wouldn't have access to the entire building. And from what John understood today was that those 29 keys that you have in your possession are all master keys.
I believe that to be true.
We looked at them
We
this
looked at
morning,
it, they all
they're
look.
remarkably similar.
Yeah, it should not be. Should not be.
So you're telling me that when the door company installed the locks, they don't have individual door keys, they're all the same?
We met with the actual door company
So
and
how did
told
that
him
get changed?
exactly what we needed. I don't know. But we
So
told
the
him
point is,
exactly-
there is such a thing as having a master key that will open
Yes.
different locks, so it
Right.
may not be that, may not be.
There should be I think we asked for 5 master keys.
Okay.
So basically,
Okay, so I think, are we all agreeable that we're gonna figure out the key situation? And is that the keys are gonna be issued through the auditor's office so we can keep a record of who,
has
what, where?
keys?
Okay, so this line says, tenant shall provide the landlord with a key and a code access to allow landlord to perform its duties under the contract.
so I do have a question though about that. So then when the fair board rents the facility though, are you just issuing them all the keys? Or are you wanting people to come here to
No.
get the keys?
My thinking on that is she would sign out so many keys to like the fair board. So again, like I said on the fair board, so if I have a key to that, which I don't need a key to that, but I'm saying like depending on how that gets done, but the fair manager would have like 5 keys. That would be a rental key.
Okay,
One of them,
I just wanted clarification.
or
I-
whatever
I
would
would
be a
think-
rental key, they don't,
Together
they
with
don't
village
come
should
back
have
here.
That.
Together, we Bill might have a master key, extension might have a master key.
Right,
Maybe the fair office might have a master key. To me, that's like 3, then we maintain 1 or 2.
Right.
So when the fair board is renting it, the keys that they have that they primarily use only access
The main areas.
The main area
That
doesn't
they
access.
rent, they don't
yeah,
access your area.
right,
And that's, you know,
just my question.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's like,
And
we're not
then-
gonna send them people up here. Basically, kind of like we talked in that meeting, when they pay their deposit. They get this key when they turn that key back in. They
So,
don't turn that key
it's
back. in.
controlled here through the key process that we currently have,
Mhm.
is that if 5 keys went to the fair board, she's got them down, who's got them?
well, John is scheduled to be here at 10 o'clock, so we can ask him about the key situation.
The
Well, we
auditor,
told you what he knows, that's what he knows.
Well, we're gonna tell him what we're, I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's a minor.
It's just a matter of getting it rekeyed. You know, those locks
That's
set,
what he said, yeah.
and so that to me is something that would be a construction expense.
So are we in agreement that the landlord shall provide the tenants with the keys?
Yes.
Okay, we're switching to where the,
Yeah, we're fine with that.
yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable with, together we build their board or whatever you wanna call it, is takes care of that, but initially they were issued from here.
but just for clarity, It's not the auditor's office decision. We will be getting direction from, Don, correct me, from the Inc., from Together We Build Inc.
What I suggested is the auditor's office house all the keys and they sign them out. Would you guys will, and I guess this, I'm talking to you because you're on the Together We Build Advisory Board as the renter of the building from the supervisors will dictate who gets what. And then they can, like they say, okay, Amber, you get a key for this.
Mhm.
Then
So-
she can go get it issued.
I think that makes sense.
Basically, everybody has their records.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else in the version that is in question? I know there was a couple typos. One said 1,009%. Well, that was obviously a 0 and a 9 at the same time, so that was pretty obvious.
Amber did spot one this morning too, that was under 5, right?
I think so,
It's simple.
Yeah, it's at the top of page 3,
yeah.
right above number 6, it says fee simple, which is just 2 words that don't need to be there.
Fee simple would be title. Does it deal with title to the building? Because that's what fee simple means.
It looks to
But
me
it's
like
like
a
a-
line got deleted and they
Oh,
forgot the
okay.
last 2.
It-
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I just could say, because,
It goes full sentence period and then just fee simple.
yeah, okay, yep, yeah, I was gonna say, because that's how people get title with by fee simple.
Was there also a provision in the original that referenced, the leases could be terminated by either party in such as 90 days or something of the fact? Was that in there or taken out of there that I just?
I didn't notice a 90-day thing anywhere, but it does talk about stepping away from it somewhere.
It does,
Termination
yeah.
under number 8, termination surrenders premises at the end of the term, removal of fixtures.
But that's just that term. There's no,
I thought I did read something, it's in here somewhere.
I guess the 90-day terminology, I would be more suited to make sure that's in the leases between the Together We Build and the Fair Board.
I would say same thing.
Yeah. You know,
I mean, our initial agreement was, again, the 50-year agreement. I know we broke it down a couple times a little bit, and I think that was logical also. But again, that was our original thought process going in.
and we just need to make sure that in our subleases,
Yeah, 90 days.
we have 90-day clauses for.
I would,
I will let,
the other thing I would like to bring up, or that I asked. That I'd like to bring up for the discussion was if we would sublease any further than them and the Fair Board, that it has to come to us for approval,
so for example, you're saying that
like that
the Fair
office,
Board office, if they don't use it, if we try and lease it out to a business.
Sure,
business, you know,
I
like,
would say long-term lease type of thing, because.
like, we don't want
Sure.
a hemp farm. Obviously,
I don't think
represent,
we do.
I know,
Good
but
valid
again,
point.
you don't know, and
no, but if you
In
do
10
stop
years
lease,
from
I
now.
guess if the building is still owned by the county, you still have the 50-year lease, but yeah, I would think you would bring a sublease for approval.
right, and our other lease agreements, we do have that, right?
County approval when they get into
Sure.
negotiations.
Pending county approval, yeah.
Because it specifically acknowledges extension and fair in this agreement.
In this
as a sub-
agreement,
as a
but any
sublease.
any other ones where our other.
The one question.
NEI 3A spells that out if they sublease anything. So I thought that was good wording prior, you know, and it kind of just says into entering any sublease agreement, the tenant shall obtain landlord's written authorization.
Makes sense.
And there was one question about the signage. The type of sign that you guys are looking at. Is it like what's on here on the courthouse where they take letters and they screw them into the building? Or is it more like what you see on like the Smiles on Main? I'm more talking about things that fix the bill, like it Smiles on Main where it's like a sign screwed to the wall, but you can change the plastic out front. And so the one fixture is screwed to the wall, but like on that clock, you can pull the glass out, put different decals on it and change it if you get a name sponsor, the extension office, you know what I mean? What kind of sign are you talking about when you talk about if you're, first of all, are you thinking of fixing one to the building?
So the extension signage is aluminum.
Mhm.
And so it's just flat aluminum like your road grade signs are, not just affixes to the building. And I'm not exactly sure how, so I have to call, we just actually talked about that at our meeting this morning. But it's the same, it's in all the architecture plans, so it's what you've seen on that. Just a rectangle.
But it's not by
basically.
letter.
No, so it's not by letter. So the other sign we have not designed yet. So that is like if what we intended was it was gonna say Together We Build Outreach or TWB Outreach Center.
Yeah, and something Nan and I talked about yesterday is we are still looking for a building sponsor to help us finish this fundraising. So Dean and I mentioned it this morning, maybe we should hold off on putting anything else on the building till we know for darn sure what it's gonna be called. Because if Mike Steinis decides he wants to sponsor it, then we can call it the Steinis Center, you know, but until we're done fundraising, we should probably hold off on mounting.
Was I supposed to bring donor paperwork?
Oh, well, you can.
Our original thought was, yes, that TWB Outreach Center, that TWB could be replaced. And that it would have been individual letters. That was our original thought, but we have not,
I'm more opposed to that because that's a lot more
Yeah.
physical
Right.
intrusion.
and we
in the
haven't
building
put,
Versus something that's an aluminum box sign where you can pull the plastic out, relaminate it, change it.
Mhm.
So you could, that to me is more of a, as long as it's not quite as big as the Jackson County Regional Medical Center sign.
On the curb, you mean?
Well, I mean, we did the same thing a couple
Me,
years ago
yeah.
when we had different people go into the Penrose building. We had fixed the sign out in the yard.
Mhm.
That looks nice enough.
That's what I would
And
rather
it says
see.
Veterans Affairs and it says human, whatever it is. It's public health or, but,
Kind of in
something
that
that's-
space between the sidewalk and the building. Correct,
I
that
guess
way,
we're worried about being screwed to the wall and you bore a hole in the concrete and there it is, so. If it gets changes,
and
then
even
you're
if you
pulling it
need to
off the
change
wall.
your sign. Taking them out and putting them back in, they're not gonna hold like.
Yeah.
They
Right.
do just doing a one-time, if your sign fades or.
The nice thing about the Penrose facility is kind of up on a hill a little bit, so you get that vertical look from the street up.
You're close to the road there, I think.
Right, but Together We Build being flat, I think instead of having to look through the buildings, it's either gonna have to be out front on the road or it's gonna have to be up high. One of the two.
It's like that, I personally am not opposed to something affixed to the building, as long as it's kind of more of a.
Yeah.
A permanent, yet,
Yeah.
we can say, okay, it should be no more than 4 feet tall by 8 feet. And you got plexiglass that you can change and all, you can do whatever you want, do sponsor old people, whatever, but that don't move,
Mhm.
and.
And I
That's
think-
more of a-
Yeah, I think you're right. I think what we need to do is come back to the landlord supervisors and say, hey, here's what we're thinking. Yes, we don't want a whole bunch of holes in the building. This is, and I think the only three signs that would be attached to the building would be the extension, the name of the building and the address. I don't see anything else being
Yeah, I gotta get
attached.
the address.
Yeah.
Give us those like LED flashes.
yeah.
So, but on that
That's
subject, I don't know if item G that you added needs to be there or not, because it's in item 18, and they pretty much say the same thing. but,
18 doesn't really say affixed to the building.
Of attaching. But it says in item, under A4, it says such sign shall be subject to written approval of the landlord.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's already in there.
Yeah.
Such things shall not change the structure of the building.
Yep.
Shall not damage the building. Subject to landlord approval.
So I don't think it's hurting anything to have them both, but it is a redundancy, I think. So,
And like I say, as we go through on the Together We Build advisory, as we get closer to come up with a sign, there'll be dialogue back and forth and
I agree.
knowing intent.
Okay, so is there any other suggestions, concerns, questions?
I don't think so.
I myself been kicking this can long enough that I would see some type of approval with minor changes.
Thank you. Well, I think with the
My
change
toes
in
getting
the
sore,
keys
kicking again.
on item 3. Removing that extra verbiage on item 5, the e-signal. I would make a motion to approve the leases with those changes
What about the subletting?
and the subletting verbiage here. Needing board approval or landlord approval.
And we're not doing the 90 days thing then.
I would like to see that added in the leases to
There
those
it is.
individual parties.
Yep. That's
Through together with Bill.
and I will let Steve Kaler know that to add it to the agreement.
So are you saying that you've made a motion to approve and authorize the chair's signature on a 50-year lease between Jackson County and Together We Build, Inc. for a building at 1102 East Quarry Street in Cocata, effective January 1st, because I don't think it stated in there, did it? So
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
The first, the other one did, but the one did not.
you're gonna make it effective January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2074. With amendments or with changes, how would you, I mean,
I guess, here's my one question, can we do this before the public hearing? Because the idea of a public hearing is for people to come in and give input. If you've already passed everything, then they can't come in and give input.
They can give input and we can talk about why we did it, and the reason why we did it is try to get occupancy so it can start doing what it's intended to do. The reason I'm comfortable with the 50-year lease is there's people that fundraise and are gifting a building, a $3 million building to the public, and they're asking for a long-term commitment that they continue to use it. And it is unlike any other lease that we have. We are also including in verbiage that we review the lease every 5 years to make sure we have our insurance liabilities and everything covered.
Right, that's my biggest concern is the insurance
Right.
liabilities.
So we
As we
have
all
that
know,
verbiage
like
in there.
I
There is
will,
5-year renewal or
that-
5-year reviews, and we
And,
can make changes if required.
you know, 5 years ago, 500,000 was a lot of insurance. Now we're asking for millions. You know, 5 years from now, we could be asking for 5 million.
I don't
Yeah,
think
so-
we're concerned about that. That's.
So there's many terms in here, and again, like the 5-year renewal, we will review in 5 years, it's not perpetual, but it's,
Right.
this was intended when we first started.
Our donors
Yeah,
asked
right.
about.
Yeah.
that,
I mean,
and
that's
what they were told, because
basically a
that's
lot
the
of
way
them
it
were.
originally signed.
Right. And so, yes, I make that motion to approve this lease with those recommended changes. And as far as the public hearing, I talked to John Keys about it, and John Keys said we have, if it's in the code, we have to have a public hearing. It does not state when or why. We can just talk about it, so. For legal counsel, we have a public hearing set. And we can talk about why we did it, and these are the
That
same
office
reasons
is
I would
given
give
two
us that
different
public hearing.
viewpoints.
I wanna see this open, I wanna see it going, and the only way to open it for our insurance, so we can maintain property insurance on it, is you have to have the occupancy rating, which we have. And you have to have a signed lease, which we do not have. This will give us that signed lease, so we can then get the insurance to make sure that building is covered in case of fire, whatever, tornado. And then they can turn around and start issuing the leases to the Fair Board, to the extension office, and you guys can start occupying it. I walked through the building a week ago. It is a glorious, nice building. They're just a little touch of paint, so it'll be nice to see it open and functioning as intended.
And John's got that set with the contractors to be wrapped up April 5th, which
Yeah.
will be this week, and he told us just this morning that he feels they're on schedule. So.
So yes, that's my motion.
so are you going to take the changes back to John? I didn't write any of that down, so are you gonna take it back to John to make those changes to bring it back today? So we can get it signed?
Yes.
Okay.
I can get that verbiage on the subletting.
I have it, or it's in our, in.
Yep.
Northeast Iowa, each
Okay.
aging thing.
So I do have a motion on the table to approve it with the minimal changes that we discussed and bring it back for signature yet today. Is there a second?
I'm just not comfortable before the public hearing. I mean, to me, the idea of a public hearing is to allow people to voice their opinions.
if there was significant concern brought up at the public hearing, could it be brought back to the board for amendments later?
Well, that's not how the lease reads, so. I
So
mean,
at this point-
that's the issue, that's where I'm struggling,
Sure.
and I'm just trying to do what's best for,
At this point, I would vacate the chair and second the motion. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So we will get them changes made and, we'll give a call, we'll get keys on the horn here after our meeting and we'll get things put together.
Sounds good. And then I
Appreciate
think we can
your
do I think we can get it out to our board and get it approved and I can sign it one after that. So,
Sounds good.
thank you guys, appreciate it.
Yep.
And so who's contacting the insurance?
As soon as we get a signed lease, we can get that over to Jennifer and
Yeah,
Sandy.
that's,
And,
But you guys will take care of that then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that
Thank you.
we don't have a gap.
I would
but
suggest,
then you guys have to do your insurance.
Right.
that somebody touches base and make sure it was done. How about
Okay.
that? We both follow up here, we'll
Sure.
cover our bases.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for all your help.
Yep,
Thank you. It's a great facility. so-
yeah, it is.
That's a
Hope
great
hope they,
facility,
uh,
you guys did a super job.
Yeah, no, he thought that over well and we hope it gets good use and the public can enjoy that
Well,
facility.
the assessor's office called last week, and wanted to use it this Thursday, so. People are ready to use it.
Charge them.
Amber,
Plan.
Amber, just make sure when you leave, you take all your stuff in. All your stuff,
All your paper.
all your metal desks, and all your stuff.
Ah, we're moving forward. So, okay, Lisa, we're down to.
So I'm down to, I need a motion to approve setting a public hearing date for the fiscal year 2025 budget hearing on April 23rd, 2024 at 10 a.m.
Okay, that's a Tuesday, okay.
So move.
Second,
Motion and second to approve setting a public hearing date for the fiscal year 2025 budget hearing on April 23rd, 2024 at 10 a.m. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? Motion carries.
I need a motion to approve an appropriations resolution number 1024-04-02-2024, transferring $5,000 in appropriations from the Mental Health Transport Department to the Guardian Ad Litem Department.
so move.
Second.
Motion and second to approve resolution 1023-04-02-2024 as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
We had a check come in for Leisure Lake. And when we approved the motion on March 19th, it included a dollar amount with these people's names on it. And I didn't want to change that resolution because that's what was approved with the dollar amount. So the way to correct it is today I'm asking to rescind resolution number 1019-03-19-2024 and approve resolution number 1025-04-02-2024, certifying delinquent Leisure Lake sewer assessments to the county treasurer for property tax collection.
I'm confused.
We like
So
to
the
see
check-
checks come in,
We
so.
like to see checks come in, but the check came in after the resolution was passed.
So the numbers are wrong.
So the numbers are wrong. And there's
But
a
the numbers
fee.
were-
So there's a fee.
It's better for us.
It is. So there's a fee that the treasurer's office charges. And if we would have given this resolution to the treasurer's office, they would have attached a fee to it. So then nothing matches. So that's why, because then we were gonna have to go back to the property owner and say, we need X amount of dollars more. So it's easier. We have a check in hand. And when you get a check in hand, we don't want to send a check back.
Right,
So it was
So
easier.
the check beat the fee, basically.
Yeah.
or crossed in the mail.
Yeah, and you know
basically.
what, we're gonna change our policy, because Shelley has been very patient with these people, and you know what? As soon as we get this from ECIA, we're just gonna pass the resolution, and it's gonna be so sorry. I mean, Shelley's been very patient with these people, we've sent notices out, we've sent statements out, we're trying to get this money collected. And so this is one that came in after we passed the resolution, and since we have a check in hand, and it's a sizable check. we don't want to return it. So it's easier to change the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to rescind resolution 1019-03-19 2024 and approve resolution 1024-04-02 2024 as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carried.
That's all that I have for the board today.
Why, you were rather windy today. Okay, we appreciate it. Thank you, Lisa.
Mhm.
What did you find out about Elizabeth?
Form was busy.
Okay, well then, we'll take you.
I have for you. We set the public hearing for our
Are you
taxes
ready? All right, thanks.
for the 23rd.
Yep.
I don't see on the agenda today where we actually set what the tax rate is gonna be that will be published.
We're just putting notice in the paper setting, we're just putting, this is just. But this is actually setting the notice in the paper of the public hearing. I
Okay.
mean, we can clarify with Shelley during recess if you'd like.
I just, when, my question is, when do we do that? When do we say, this is what we're doing, so that can be printed in the paper, so people.
I think that would be part of the notice. I mean, let's clarify with Shelley.
Okay.
So we should, yeah, either, I mean, I know we have to have two public hearings, correct?
So we've had one,
Yeah,
we got the first one done.
Okay.
Now we're gonna do the second
so we
one.
certainly need information in there is what the.
What we're actually going with as far as the tax rate.
Yes.
There's like nobody in.
I just remember Shelley saying we had to have made that decision by the board.
Because we need to get this into the paper, so yes.
Okay, so. We are joined by Elizabeth Townsend, our Jackson County Health Administrator. Good morning.
Extraordinary.
You,
Morning.
you look
Morning.
tired or the nice rain we're getting?
It is. I actually canceled 2 water tests. I wasn't going out in
There's
this.
plenty of water there.
Well, you gotta you track dirt in people's
Don't you have
houses.
a umbrella?
I do, but to do a proper well assessment and everything.
I would attend.
I don't want to take my shoes off in people's houses.
You don't have mud boots?
I do. I have boots and I even have little booties that I can put
Walk
over my
in the
rubber
house,
boots so
yeah.
that, but still, I don't.
Just sit them back in.
You're fine.
There's other things going on anyway, so,
right.
it's good. I'm busy.
Well, we're up for a department update. That's what we're here for, correct?
Yeah, and by the time these come to you, they're not fun and exciting to me anymore, like old news.
Well, don't write it until you write it before you come in, I guess.
Okay, so, this was kind of interesting, so I found out that we're one of the top 3 counties, in the state to do well reconstruction. So we were asked by the state, just for some input on administrative fees. That we get for our grants to counties, so they increased the fee to, $300. For each well construction, so every time we do one, we get a $300 admin fee.
Do you have a copy of them notes or we don't have a copy of them, correct?
I forgot to send it to Luann, but they do, you guys actually do get these, they come to you every time we email out our board information, we copy you guys on it, so if you wanna look back at it, it's in an email
Okay.
somewhere. So I apologize for that. Let's see here. I mentioned that, so we put water testing ads out, in 3 of the newspapers, ran those for, a week on one of them and 2 weeks on another one. So we got a lot of calls for water testing. This is our busy time of year for that. We put together some refrigerator magnets for our grants to counties, just promotional. Yeah, they're kind of cheesy, but it was fun, okay? I'm not a good designer, that's what I figured out. But anyway, we're handing those out. They'll
Those
be.
refrigerators don't have no metal in them anymore.
They could stick to anything.
They're
Lisa.
magnets. I've
Yeah.
seen them on the back of restroom stalls.
Yeah, we've got them out there, so. Yeah, look at that.
Wow. Okay.
Where
Yeah.
else do you, they say that's the #1 place to get notices to people.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
what else do you do?
Wall Street Grill.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Small Street.
Above the urinal and,
Oh, gosh. Okay, and then, we are doing a, partnership with the Extension Office for a private well stewardess program. basically, it's an educational thing about private wells. It's gonna be on next Tuesday, April 9th, from 6 to 7 p.m. We had to change the location like 3 different times, so it's gonna be at the Farm Bureau, office boardroom building, boardroom at 102 South Olive Street, Macokota. So Farm Bureau Office Boardroom, 102 South Olive Street, Macokota. So basically, they're really putting it on, but we're present, and then there will be a sign up sheet at the end of it for people to come in, sign up to do water testing, and they'll have my promotional items there. If people have questions, I'm there to answer them. I believe they're doing it in every county, so it's not super special, but just something to kind of get our stuff out there. Geo permits, I was the first one to go live. That's right. Yeah, so I've got all my permits live right now, and it's interesting. It's been,
So is that in our county website or just on yours?
so it's on the geo
Okay.
permits. So
Oh.
if you, so basically what I'm doing as of now is I'm, if somebody wants to do a permit, I email them the link. And then they go in and they apply. I might have Bjorn put it on our website sometime this week when he's not busy, so I can direct people to the website.
Sure.
But, so right now I'm just going on and giving them instructions on what to do. So far, we've had 3 septic permits come through. We've had most of our septic installers do their registration renewal. And I haven't had any well permits come through. We have had some glitches. There was some issues between like just the way the fees are recognized through like Beth's office, but I think we've got it figured out. It's because it's like a second or third party payer or whatever.
Well, it's nice to hear that it's up and we can figure out the glitches anyway and get them taken care of and people are using it.
Yes, and I'm not telling people that they have an option. I'm like, this is the way we're doing it now, and so I haven't had
Good,
anybody
boss.
complain. So yeah, but there's, like I said, we're still working on some glitches just as they come in, but. Let's see, oh, and then I'm working on my county website stuff, so I think I'm one of the first ones to meet with them on, what's the name of it again, the company? Neapolitan Labs, I'm meeting with them on Thursday, I'm super excited for that, I just wanna get the ball rolling on that. Wrestlers, I don't know if you guys have been down there, they are definitely bringing the water in, they're working on that main water line there.
Absolutely.
So I guess they're still targeting for the end of July. We did have one individual that was grandfathered in to keep their well. They decided that they're gonna hook up to the water. So I'm actually gonna be making a phone call to them today and sending them a letter, just letting them know that once they do that, they're responsible for any fees with plugging the well and that hookup, and they're no longer grandfathered in.
So they will not be on the original application as far as
So I think
grant or?
right, I don't believe they're eligible, but I haven't talked to Mark to see if they're not going, if what he's doing with that. He just basically talked to me about the plugging of the well that's there. I told him that the
So
individual.
I know, but we talked about anyone that after this post, if you will. They're gonna be responsible for all the hookups and
All
the
the
charges
fees,
and
yes.
so I mean, it could be in excess of $4,000, $5,000.
Yeah.
Are they in this position, being it's not installed yet and there's nothing going down the property line?
I don't know, that's a Mark question. I would assume that based on like the resolution we put together, that they are responsible to pay the fees, but maybe ECIA, IRS is not, maybe they're waiving it because they haven't put it in yet. I'm just not sure, but I can definitely find out.
Yeah, I know we spent enough time with the individuals trying to explain the whole scenario. That said that you will be responsible.
Yeah.
Now's the time to do this if you're, so
And I
desire.
think some of that comes down to with the supplies being ordered, yeah, it's not done yet, but supplies were ordered already, so I don't know how that falls in, if they did order in some
They
extra.
didn't
I
mention
don't
anything in the
know.
last time.
Not as far as what
Yeah.
the fee was, cause they're still kind of looking you know, things came in a little over budget, so they're still trying to look for some grants.
Yeah,
And that may change then if they find maybe some grants that maybe they would allow.
yeah, and I'll be reaching back out to Mark and I'll find out, but, yeah, and I'm not sure with like the plugging of the well, I don't know if I guess we didn't really determine if they would be eligible for grants to counties funds. 'Cause normally we pay $500
Sure.
towards a well plug.
We have that program originally, before this even.
We do. I think there was something somewhere saying that they wouldn't be eligible, but maybe, I think that's kind of silly,
Well, if we
so,
can get that clarified, yeah.
yeah,
mean, Obviously, if we get more users, I mean, it's only one, but still,
right,
one and one more and one more would help, yeah.
right. So, yeah, that's going on. Rabies prevention. So I had talked about putting some kind of a new program together, for rabies prevention, animal control type stuff. And looked at like almost every county in Iowa and just like what they have out there and basically only the really big counties that are working, you know, with these bigger cities have bigger programs. So I'm not sure, it's really gonna come down to this board and does the county want to invest in another employee to run a program like this? Because I mean, once you get involved with like dogs and cats and things like that, it becomes an ongoing, policing type thing that would be through the weekends. So I don't know if that's something, I mean, I've talked to my board about it, obviously, but you guys are the ones that,
I would have to sit down and see some numbers, I guess,
I just-
I don't know what kind of revenue you're talking about, and I don't have any clue of how you monitor or enforce that.
right, it would be really costly, I think, considering that we don't have, our Humane Society is fairly small. I think that even right now, they're missing some board members and there's some issues there, so I'm just not sure that without partnering outside of the county, that it would be really successful. So it's definitely not something I can do on my own as far as,
Right.
enforcement and things like that, so. Anyway, I'm gonna kind of put that one on the back burner for now.
Good idea.
Yeah. Commercial septic tank cleaners, so those are the guys that go out and pump your septic tanks. There's been some issues with this program the last couple of years. I made some personal complaints to the DNR because, there's been complaints that came to me and then I have to go and, do the enforcement on them. But really what it boils down to, and I hope the big guys aren't listening, but the DNR really doesn't have this program very. It's really not neat and clean enough to have a good program at the county level. We do this program under contract.
As far as enforcement, you mean, or what?
There's just a lot of issues, like we have some new pumpers in the last couple of years, and basically they just go apply through the DNR to get their pumper license. Well, it's my job to go and do the inspections on them,
On
but
the equipment,
yeah, I do the equipment, I
Okay,
have to do.
but you're not talking, application where they apply to,
So they go in and apply to the DNR and say, I wanna be a commercial pumper, this is where I'm gonna land apply, or this is where I'm gonna take the waste, to a municipal, waste treatment facility. Yada, 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 all that, so I go and inspect the vehicles, anything they're doing, haul septic around, I do the inspections on the site itself. to
so
make-
land application, you do inspect that.
I
And
do.
is there testing that has to be done with that? Like,
So
I've
they-
heard, there has to be X amount of lime coverage
pH,
or.
yeah, so they have options to either inject it, disc it in, or they can, mix it with lime to stabilize it, and then they can apply and they don't have to integrate it into the ground. But there's no way for me to know that they're doing that.
Right,
So like the two new guys that came in, one of them takes everything to Clinton, but the other guy land applies it on his own land. They can also land apply it on the property owner from where they pumped it from. Which makes it even harder to regulate.
Sure.
How do I know that it
Sure.
was, cause I'm getting records way after the fact for one thing. So I didn't get information for the new pumpers until they'd already been pumping for several months. And then it's just, it's a nightmare. So they already were up and running before I even might have known about it. But anyway, there's been some issues with them just dumping. I don't wanna say who, but there's an issue with one of the pumpers dumping stuff right in the ditch, too close to houses. They're not screening it, so there's garbage, debris that shouldn't even be in a septic tank, but are getting applied all over the ground, so. Or they're not
No, it's-
integrating it or stabilizing it.
Yeah, I could certainly see where that'd be hard to regulate and to follow up on, but,
Right.
in them situations where they're not complying, there should be a substantial penalty to that.
Right, so we've got one that's being reviewed by the county attorney right now, just because there was more than one complaint and incident, and I did investigations, I've been working closely with the DNR. I wanna make the program better, but honestly, I'd like to see land application banned in the county, but the problem is we don't have a place in county to take that waste. So right now, we've got a guy driving all the way to Clinton.
Which he has to by law keep records of too, correct?
They have to keep records, yes. Yeah, so I review the records. But it's like when they're land applying, there's supposed to be a crop rotation every 3 years, like, it's just
Well,
not
obviously, we can't penalize the guy that's doing it right.
right.
You know what I mean? I mean.
But it's hard to know if they're doing it right, and I don't think that, anyway, so I kind of got on the DNR and I was like, you need to put something together better for me so that I can better regulate this. And I'm just talking like paperwork and forms and information, and they should have a training for these guys. Anyway, I've gone to extreme detail on it.
All right, well, keep us posted.
All right,
I hear what you're talking about and I know where it's coming from and. I mean, there's probably few
I
and
mean,
few.
ideally, we're hoping that they're doing it right, but it's hard to track.
yeah. So,
And we have
we don't want
word
garbage
that
floating
at least
around.
one is not.
And if they're dumping in ditches, we got a lot of our secondary roads people right now going out and cutting a lot of the right of ways back, the vegetation. We don't want them inadvertently going into what they consider wet ground and have it be
Exactly.
unsanitary, you
Right,
know?
so I'm gonna possibly work on an ordinance, and in that ordinance, they would have to post that ground is land applied land. And then some other things too, but I will keep you guys posted.
Yep,
Don't want the
Thank you.
county to be dirty and gross, so,
appreciate this.
yeah. That's all I got.
Is that all the above?
That's it, I think. Well, there's probably more, but I can't remember right now.
It's raining.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Keep us informed if you need something.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Mr. John Hanson. Midwest Construction Consultants. Woo-hoo. Looking for some updates.
Okay, just wanted to give you a quick update. They're getting ready to start up the VRF system in front end of the administration area. So, it's a heating, ventilating, air conditioning system up front.
Okay.
It's a complicated system, so they're working on getting that started up. The electricians have it all wired now and everything. So I'm anxious to get that up and running. The epoxy floors have been completed on the upper level of the mezzanines and the cells down below. I don't want to do the day rooms till the end or they'll get damaged. There's still quite a bit of work going on. So now the contractors are installing the stainless steel combi units, and I'm lifting that furniture up to that second floor. That way I can get Girardi back there and we can finish up that steel fencing or whatever you want to call it, and the stairs and everything. Ceiling grid is going up. They put drywall ceiling up in corridor that they wanted for security. Padded cells being installed as we speak. And right now I'm trying to get contractors clean up, move all the material over to the steel building. Material and tools, so we can get everything out of the facility to keep it fairly clean. And SCI was there yesterday installing some more cabling and stuff. They still have a bit to do, but I'm gonna get together with Bjorn on that. We'll get that figured out. So that's kind of where we're at now. I know that they haven't, the Attorney General scheduled for a Friday morning tour. And I believe somebody's gonna be there. So I'd like to buy some materials, you know, like mop bucket and mop that maybe I can, you know, knock some of the dust down. I mean, they're gonna need it there sooner or later. So it's just.
I don't think that's an issue.
Okay. And, so.
I mean,
try
that's
to
not
get
something
cleaned
they're
up.
gonna prove, or what special kind of mop buckets are. I know these, I know,
I
these
would
cleaning
just
ladies,
imagine-
they use special kinds of stuff.
Well, have we got cleaning ladies? 'Cause I can certainly use them because I'm getting worn out. And the contractors don't clean as well.
Yeah,
You know, so I chase them around some, but there's a lot of work going on right now. There's a lot of.
Well, didn't they submit a work order? They had a loose spot panel, so just wonder if you couldn't just borrow, I mean, you can buy them if you want, or just make sure they're serviceable, get them from the sheriff's department. They should know where they are.
Yeah, they should be using them over there too.
That's what I'm saying.
I thought of breaking some people out of jail and taking them over there for an afternoon.
the-
If we had a couple of them.
your responsibility, I've got.
Yeah, I don't know if they have any that are responsible enough to be taken over there for an afternoon.
That's, you gotta work out with Brett.
So, I guess, did you have any questions or concerns over there?
Where are we at on the schedule, time frame wise?
We're in May for sure.
Okay.
And, yeah, I mean, we need to get out of there, you know, and get moved in, so.
Well, we're kind of at your guys' mercy on what's going on. I mean, is there holdups or everything is just?
I got, you know, 4 plumbers there, I got 5 electricians there today, I mean, they're pushing, there's some work to be done, but I gotta get security electronics, that's what would take a little bit of time, you know, to get everybody trained and get everything hooked up. But they're supposed to be in a week or 2.
So when you say May, are you talking about where they can actually go in and start functioning things, or is this still construction?
I imagine there'd be a little bit of construction going on yet, but I imagine there'll be training on control panels and stuff like that.
Okay, cause I'm looking at I guess when I'm asking where we at, I wanna know when construction is done, because I guess I didn't realize that part of the phase is you teaching them how to do their process, cause I know they asked for about a month or so to kind of learn their procedures and all that kind of stuff. Is that what we're also talking about?
No, I'm talking about operating the control panel, the security electronics,
Okay,
training them on how to operate thermostats and stuff like that, construction wise. I didn't know that they're, you know, I don't know what they're, but I imagine they're developing their policies and procedures. Cause they have to have them developed to get the developer to occupy the facility and get their occupancy from that. I would figure all construction needs to be done by June, and I would like it done earlier if possible.
Good.
I noticed there's some talk about the drainage swale or something out back.
I saw Clocky and them back behind the steel shed the other day. I didn't stop. I had to get
They're
back.
talking about something, I think they're in Jeff Gifford or whatever. And I talked to them a little bit, that's all sand out there. I mean, I checked it this morning, it's draining. If it sets there a little bit, I mean, it's gonna sink into, there's 15 foot of sand there, so it'll drain, you know, if it, you know.
You're talking between the solar array and the steel building, is that where we're concerned here, or where?
I don't know where they're concerned about.
I thought there was,
Anyways,
somebody said there was some pooling there, I didn't.
I think it was up in front of the solar panel when they put the solar panels and they moved some of the dirt, but I imagine it's clearing out today. Even if it sits there, it isn't gonna sit there for very long because it's all sand. Typically, a city has you put in a retention basin, but it'll soak into that sand so quick. I mean, It shouldn't sit there.
So you did have conversation with Jeff and with Clocky or whoever concerned there or what?
Yeah, because that we paid $5,400 just to knock the rock down, and it is, you're not gonna get through there with a storm sewer, and if they ever did change regulations, why would you wanna drain the whole thing? You know? We did change drainage in the parking lot to go over towards that storm we installed
Mm-hmm.
over there in southwest corner, so. I mean, that takes the main parking lot, so you got basically the correctional portion of it that drains there, and I guess there's some drainage coming up downspouts on Spiegel property, but you're not gonna stop all of that, so.
Okay. Other updates? Together we build?
Fairgrounds, Together We Build, they're finishing punch list painting and stuff up there. We had, there's a just general punch list of touch-up items. And HVAC's completed, plumbing's completed. Pete's in there finishing up, and Stickley's supposed to be in there this week just to finish up their punch list. So
Did the power drain on the lights ever get figured out?
that's on the list.
Okay.
Stickley hasn't been there yet.
We had discussion this morning, a brief discussion on some of the keys. So do you know if all the locks are the same, or is there a master key that will open the locks that are different?
There's a master key that'll open the locks. We did a keying schedule, and I'm working on getting the individual keys. They're removable cylinders, Mike, so if they're not keyed individually, because I think there's a couple areas that were keyed differently, and it was mainly the ISU office and the fair office.
Sure,
And then there's a master key situation.
yeah,
So there's not a lot of different keys, but those two areas were supposed to be locked differently. And if they can still be under the master key, but they can be keyed separately. They can
Sure.
pull the cylinder
well, that's
out,
what our
set the
concern
pins.
was, so, I mean, we had also discussed the lease agreement this morning, so we changed a little bit how the key process is going to work as far as the auditor's office issuing keys to Together We Build, and then Together We Build has their own policy as far as getting them keys out.
I turned the keys over to the auditor,
yeah.
to Lisa already. So the keying really doesn't affect me.
No, I just didn't know if you knew if all them offices were keyed the same, or all the doors inside, outside.
I think all the offices inside ISU are just passage sets, are not keyed.
Okay, so ISU office is not locked?
Just the front to the main office. The individual offices are not locked. They're passage.
I'd have to walk through again, I guess.
Well, as you come out of the corridor
Yeah,
and go into
Yeah.
ISU section,
yeah,
that door's locked.
okay, that's what I'm.
The individual offices
Inside of that, no, I
I
get it,
don't believe are keys. So-
right. Okay,
So, yeah.
all right, any questions?
No, they should be out of there. Pete said they'd be out by the end of the week. And Stickley's supposed to be in there, and they don't have much on theirs. So. And me and Jeremy got the countertops put in for them, so that's done.
Okay, so, I'm gonna go back to this policy procedure thing a little bit, so somebody need to follow up with, sheriff,
That's up to them. They
Jail
met with
administrator.
Delbert. Delbert was on site, week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
yeah, I know, but I don't wanna get to the end of the road and then we don't have something in place. So is that for us to follow up on, or
No, they're following up on it
Okay.
now.
I will touch base just to see that everybody's on
Yeah.
the same page here?
Yeah, my understanding is they're in the process and they've had some of them reviewed. and
Okay,
It's an ongoing process with
Yeah.
Delbert. So,
okay.
but, other than that, everything going good.
I did have a conversation with Jeremy and he's still in the area, so he says he's
I see him
doing his
every
best to
night.
help you out.
Yeah, I told him, come on down and clean too. You didn't have to, yeah. So, No, he's been helping me out over at the fairgrounds, I mean. and stuff,
Yeah.
And,
And again, I'm not committing anybody here, but maybe at some point, if you do need a day or something of help cleaning, maybe when our maintenance people can also help out a little bit or something, so I don't know.
oh, I thought you were gonna tell me the supervisor.
I didn't commit anybody, no, I
Yeah,
didn't.
I thought you were gonna tell me the supervisor.
No. I'm not looking for work.
Yeah, nope, we'll get her cleaned up and, ready for Friday.
Okay,
If you have anything else, give me a yell. I'll probably get you pay apps,
I figured over the weekend.
uh,
I figured over the weekend you get up to us.
yes.
We'll look for them.
Okay,
All right.
thanks.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Luann, do we know at all about Tom? Is he not on the boat or on schedule today or not
I
available or?
talked to him yesterday and he wanted to come in. I
Okay,
tried
well,
to call him. I did send him an email, but I haven't heard anything
All right.
back from him.
we can do your portion at this time.
Okay?
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, we'll start with the calendar, which at this point is a work in progress. Tomorrow, Wednesday, April 3rd at 9 AM is an RTA meeting for all of you in Dubuque or by Zoom. At 4:30 tomorrow is a Wednesday's our possible meeting at Innovate 120 for any of you that want to attend that.
There's also a special
noon.
council meeting. at
ECIA.
At noon.
At noon, that's what I just got in there. So that's in Dubuque or by Zoom for Mike. Thursday, April 4th at 1:30 PM is a meeting with the CPKC Railroad. I believe that's gonna be
Yeah.
Nin. And I think that's in Bellevue, right? It's on site.
It's on site.
Okay. Friday, April 5th, from 2:05 to 3:05 PM. Senator Grassley will be over at Innovate 120. For any of you that want to attend that.
Attorney General's gonna be here also that morning for maybe a tour. That 8 to 9, is it?
Yeah, okay.
At the jail facility. And yeah, you better put that on the schedule because there's maybe several of us that will be attending that.
Okay. The Iowa Attorney General.
Yes, Biannenberg.
Okay. Saturday, April 6th, starting at 2 PM is the public rollout for the Green Space redevelopment project. That's over at the Coconut Art Experience for any of you that wanted to go to that. Monday, April 8th at 7:30 AM is an Early Childhood Iowa Executive Committee meeting by Zoom for NIN. And our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, April 9th at 9 AM. That afternoon at 4 PM will be a Macoka River Watershed Management Authority Executive Committee meeting by Zoom for Don. The only other business I have this morning is discussion on whether or not, what you want to do with the resolution for the Ports of Eastern Iowa Authority. Which came in while I was.
Personally, I know very little about that.
Okay.
I'd almost like to wait until at least tomorrow if we're up and talk to Chandra about this. I mean, he was on the initial resolution, if I recall, that's what it said in the email.
What I read is that they need RPA to sponsor the port. It somehow goes through the RPA.
So it
but I
was
don't-
not discussed in any RPA meetings that you're,
That we've been at so
That
far.
we've been in, we haven't made, and I'm just reading through this resolution that talks about Port Authority having whatever, they have rights, or, you know, if they have land. There's talking about, you know, they get everything except eminent domain. There's a board formed to act on it. If there's money collected and there's excess, they get to dish it out, but the debt can't, it sounds like this is one of those here, pass this quick. It's gonna have a lot of authority, but nobody knows what it means, you know?
so is this just a renewal also?
When I
Like,
read
that
the
was what I-
email, was that it has been in existence, but that they forgot to get it recertified. State of Iowa forgot to get it. I don't know if they forgot, but they didn't get the paperwork submitted to get it recertified.
So the email that we received from the gentleman, kind of like, he was somewhat in the dark himself.
It sounds like if they don't get it recertified, Iowa can't have ports to, I mean.
So is there a deadline to this?
ASAP is what they put in the email. The other thing I noticed in there is that the board for this Port Authority cannot include any legislative people. No elected officials can sit on this board. None of the elected officials from the area that it covers, which I thought was interesting.
I would make a motion to table this a week, and Mike, while you're up in the ECIA, could you talk to Chandra?
Sure,
You know, Mike?
we will make an attempt to do that tomorrow. Don't let us forget. Man. I assume you're gonna be there,
Yeah.
okay,
My
we're
book
gonna,
and that'll remind me.
so is that a motion done?
It was.
I'll second that.
A motion and second to table the Ports of Eastern Iowa Authority resolution as presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
All right, any other business before the board this morning?
I just. That lease John emailed back the changes. There's been several emails, and I don't know why he got, it seemed like it was bouncing back. The one I just sent out to the four of you should have version 2, make sure it's correct.
That's what he just said. I just printed it out for you, so I'll go grab that up the printer.
First. It's,
Do we need to take a recess and review that, or we've already passed it as with changes?
We'll take a recess and review it to make sure the changes are in there. Would like to do that anyhow.
We would take a short recess this time. We will reconvene at this time, and we are joined by Tom Devine, our Jackson County Area Tourism Association Director. You were
Good
scheduled
morning.
20, so we're gonna just not accept you anymore.
that's it.
Okay, all right, thanks.
There.
Yeah, you're busy.
Apologies, all kinds, this weather's got us thrown off out here and I'm hoping we have good enough reception for you to hear me. Are you hearing me okay?
We're hearing you and seeing you.
Maybe he was thinking mountain time.
Good, great. Good deal, thank you. Just wanted to give you kind of an update of what's you bet. Here's an update of what's going on in Jackson County tourism. We had a great state tourism conference last week, and I'll kind of give you some ideas of what we learned from that here in a minute. But I wanted to let you know what we have going on. I don't know if we got this information to you, but last November, we did receive a $10,000 grant from the state of Iowa. We have 5 partners in Jackson County, offshore, Island City Harbor, the Caves, Macocata River Rental, and Jackson County Fair are 5 partners who we are going to put, each of them are going to have 2 billboards in the Rockford area in the May and June, in an 8-week period in May and June, to promote things that are going on in Jackson County. So about a $14,000 promotion, that 10, like I say, 10 of it comes from the state office in the form of a grant. We also had, and we've done this for the last couple years, and the co-op program that the state puts out, we applied for 12 co-ops and we got 12, but we decided to only keep 10. We budgeted $8,000 for those co-ops, and unfortunately fortunately and unfortunately, those co-ops total a little over $10,000. Budgeting only 8, we went with partnering with some of our Macocata River Rental, Island City Harbor, offshore, some of our attractions, and partnered with them. So our net out of pocket is going to be about $6,000 for that $10,000 worth of co-op advertising. those are anything from Midwest Living Magazine advertisements about Jackson County to streaming ads on Roku and Fire Sticks that Island City Harbor will be having. So some really exciting things happening for the promotion of Jackson County here coming up and actually going on right now. I don't know, can I screen share? Can you, can I try this and see
Good at
if we
it.
can? Yeah, I want to, if I can, I want to show you a couple of, they are not there. I thought they were there. Let me try something else. Sorry about that. There are a couple, while I'm finding it, there are a couple, Soul of Iowa came out 2 years ago, which was a video of all the attractions. Actually, it was like 4 attractions in the state of Iowa. It was so successful that they went on to do Soul 2.0. And here is an example of one of the videos that the state is putting out right now and promoting in Jackson County. These were put together by the Matador Network, and they let's see, how can I get rid of that? Oh, there we go. And they are promoting those on Iowa Tourism websites, social media. Here's another one. I won't take up too much of your time, but I want to show you. And the one that really hits home for us. Did you see those okay?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, good. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Stop share. So I'll get that off there, but there was another one as well. But all of those were filmed and the creative was done by the state of Iowa, and that's going all over social networks and just starting, actually just kicked off. So you'll see those streaming on social media and everywhere. So for some really neat things that the state has done to help us. We were one of the applicants, and we were one of the 32 entities that were selected, and we're fortunate enough that they chose us and are showcasing our beautiful Jackson County. One of the things that we ran into last week, and we were fortunate enough to be able to have our president, Steve Tebby, as well as our new chamber director, Aaron McCullough, and Aaron had a good opportunity to meet some of the other chamber people across the state that I've known and worked with over the years, and I think it was a good opportunity for her to meet those people and rub elbows with them. But one of the things that we came up with, and one of the new offerings that the state of Iowa has, is a program that is in partnership with Iowa State University, where they actually send some like secret shoppers out to our area. And right now we're looking at having them come to Macokota. we have an investment of $2,000 and the state picks up the rest of it. And they really come and they give you an idea of how your community is doing in welcoming visitors, how they're doing in helping visitors find other places in your area to go to, and offering suggestions on how we can improve. So we're looking into that program, and I'm hoping here soon we'll be able to let you know that it's not a for sure thing. We have to apply. There's only going to be two communities selected in the state of Iowa. You have to be under 10,000. So we have that going for us.
Is that a similar program they
and then-
did back, what, about 10 years ago in Macokota?
Very similar. Yeah. Yeah. And not the same group of people, but it's somewhat similar to that. Yeah, you're right. And the final thing is I was actually just trying to get cleaned up to get in there, but we have a new office. We have joined in partnership with Innovate 120 and have are one of their newest or one of their only sharing partners. In other words, we have an office when we need an office. It isn't an actual physical office, but I can take my laptop in and do work there. I'll have a week from Thursday will be our board meeting, and we'll have it from there. So we're going to do we've done since COVID, we've done a Zoom meeting for all of our monthly meetings, but we're going to do a hybrid where we're going to go back to having that meeting in our office, but also doing it via Zoom. So we found that we've gotten a lot better attendance at our meetings with the Zoom. So we're now one of the new tenants of Innovate 120. We're looking forward to having those facilities available for any meetings we have. We have in May, on May 11th, you might want to put this on your calendar, is our annual meeting. Location yet to be determined and speaker yet to be determined, but we're working on something that we think might be pretty cool, having this speaker come in and talk to us. So more to come on that. That's about it for tourism. Do you have any questions, any thoughts, any suggestions? We'd be happy to entertain them.
I do not. I appreciate the update, or we appreciate the update, and anything else that comes up, let us know, I guess.
Absolutely will do. Thank you again for your support, and look forward to seeing you in person one of these days.
What are you talking about the weather? What kind of weather's going on out there?
Oh my gosh, it's pouring.
Well, good for you.
Just coming down in buckets. And we've got cattle that are calving, and it's just been a mess out there today. But we'll get through it. We need the rain.
Yeah, okay.
One thing looking forward, I look at what the fairgrounds is doing with a lot of those bigger races that are coming in. Maybe the Tours Association can start focusing on some of that, because those are some not only regional, but starting to be national draws to our racetrack. That would be a good thing to tie together.
That's a great point, Don, is that, and one of the things that we found in one of the programs that I went to, or breakout sessions that I went to, was talking about what makes your community special. And that is one of the things that we can hang our hat on, that really makes our community special. So you're exactly right. That is a thing that something we need to really promote.
This weekend, they drew from Texas and all over. It wasn't just local tri-state area. It was nationwide. So that's a feather in our hat that we're really starting to grow, and they're looking to have more and more of those. So we need to capitalize on that and get the word out.
Carolina.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay.
Seeing those big rigs coming in was awesome, wasn't it? There's some big time racers that came into town. Yes, we're thankful that they bring all those people in.
They hosted a bully dog show down there at the same time as this race, and they had one dog that supposedly flew over from England.
Yeah.
For this bully dog show. So.
Isn't that awesome?
We were down in San Antonio talking at our son's strap shoot. I mentioned Macocata, Iowa, and they're like, oh, that's the canine place. We take our dog there all the time. That's a big deal. That's, you know, the big dog. I mean, there's just nationwide. I mean, take advantage of it.
You bet. Exactly.
Thanks, Tom.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. You bet. Have a great day. Sorry again for the tardiness.
Not a problem.
We'll let you go this time.
All right. Thank you. So long.
Bye, Tom.
Okay, is there anything else before the board this morning?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried, meeting adjourned. Go Hawks.